is WVVA in Focus, a weekly program about important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning and welcome to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Melinda Zosh. Well, if you're into car racing, there's an event coming up next weekend in both Princeton and Beckley that you might be interested in, and maybe take your friends, family, significant other to this event. Well, joining us now via Zoom from Beckley to talk more about the event is Joe Rush, the owner of the American All-Star Series. And Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Melinda, thank you for having us, and really excited for the upcoming events in Southern West Virginia.
Yeah, it sounds like so much fun. So there's several events coming up next Friday and Saturday in Princeton and in Beckley. So Joe, can you tell us more about what folks can expect?
The American All-Star Series is a traveling racing series. We come in, I'm based here in Southern West Virginia, but many of the drivers that race full-time with us are from Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia. So we have a lot of guys that race with us full-time that will come into the two tracks and put on these events, but there'll be local competitors there as well that race on our weekly series, which the track is weekly sanctioned with the series. So they race with us on our weekly series. But then with these events being as large as they are, especially with Saturday paying $10,000 win purse, there'll be drivers from all up and down the East Coast racing with us. We can expect to see drivers from Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and then as far as the guys from the Carolinas that will come and race. And who knows, we may even see some from the Midwest that swoop in and try to take this money in Southern West Virginia next weekend.
And Joe, you were saying the earnings could be up to $10,000?
Honestly, if they win both nights, they could win $13,000. So as long as they make the race and get in the show, they do get some money for showing up to race regardless. But if the same guy wins both nights, a driver could actually end the weekend with $13,000 in their pockets. So really good money for these guys, but really exciting too for the local fans, and even there'll be a lot of traveling people that come in to the area. Races like this definitely bring in tourism, and I think that's a big deal. But some racers are going to win a lot of money, but it's going to be a lot of entertainment for race fans in the region.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Joe, also about the entertainment for race fans here in Southern West Virginia and beyond. I'm sure you can expect people from Virginia, even maybe Tennessee, coming in just to watch an event like this. So why don't we jump in and break down the detail of the event, starting with Friday. Where is that event going to be held? So tell us more about that, and then we'll talk about Saturday.
Friday, and the names of these events, as you'll see on the flyers that we've shared. Friday night is the Coal Miners 40, so it kind of pays homage to those people around Southern West Virginia that help keep the lights on for us and work so hard. So we'll be honoring the coal miners on with Friday night's event. This event's at Princeton Speedway, and sometimes it gets confused with 304 Speedway, which is actually right across the interstate. But you get off on the Athens exit and then go through Gardner Estates to get to Princeton Speedway. It's on Racetrack Road in Princeton. If you put that in your GPS, it'll bring you right to the racetrack. Friday night's event, you could expect to see, like I said, drivers from all over the East Coast, Eastern Seaboard racing against locals and guys that travel with the series, mainly from Tennessee. But this event will pay $3,000 to win, and it's just a really a good family-friendly atmosphere. At Princeton, there's no alcohol allowed, so it's a great event to bring the whole family out. Next weekend's also Father's Day, so if you're looking for something to do with Dad for Father's Day weekend, bring them to the racetrack, either Friday night at Princeton or Saturday night at Beckley. But both those tracks offer great family-friendly atmospheres. It's fun for the whole family. And the thing is, with a dirt race, you can actually buy a pit pass if you want to, instead of just going in the grandstands, which the pit pass gets you access to the grandstands. But you have the opportunity to meet and greet with the drivers that race with us for just a few dollars more. So it's a great atmosphere for friends and family and the kids and like I said, dads. But then if you look at Saturday night's event, it's at Beckley Motorsports Park. It's the Back the Blue 75. We started this event last year. and it went really well. We had some of the local law enforcement come out, and we actually have a couple of law enforcement officers that race with the series from time to time. So, it's pretty cool because a lot of these guys that race with us, they have day jobs as well. We have an engineer that works at the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee that races with us. A lot of different personalities that race with us. So Friday night, Beckley Motorsports Park, 10,000 to win. It's in Prosperity. Real easy to find. It's on Racetrack Road as well. And like I said, both these events, you can expect a great field of drivers, great family atmosphere. What better way to celebrate Father's Day than some auto racing? So it should be a great weekend for friends, family. Bring everybody, your neighbors, bring everybody out and have a good time at Princeton Speedway or Beckley Motorsports Park.
Right, so the Princeton event is Friday, the Beckley event is Saturday. Joe, what time do those events start for each of those nights?
Each night, the gates open so fans can start coming in around 5, and especially if you want to buy that pit pass, like I mentioned, and have the opportunity to meet some of the racers that compete with us, you want to get there earlier. If possible, to go to the pits. So, because those guys get busy as the night goes on, they're working on their stuff. It's a lot different than NASCAR because these guys work on their own stuff, and they've got maybe 2 or 3 guys that are on their team that help them with their car. But the drivers themselves put a lot into working on their car, making sure it's ready to compete and go for the victory. But the racing action itself will start between 7:30 and 8 on Friday. And then on Saturday, the racing action will start around 7, and gates will open about 4 on Saturday. So, it's a great opportunity to come in with friends and family and just have a really good time, and come spend your whole evening at the racetrack.
Yeah, and Joe, as you said, a great Father's Day gift too, family-friendly event. Bring your dad out, and it's a whole family fun event that you could go to either Friday or Saturday, Princeton or Beckley. Now, what about tickets? How much are those tickets, and where can people purchase them?
Ticket prices will be set by the tracks, and if you go to Facebook, Princeton Speedway or Beckley Motorsports Park, you can look both those up. And all tickets are just purchased at the gate. There are no there's not any kind of pre-sale or anything going on. Tickets will be purchased at the gate for the weekend's events, and the fans, like I said, they'll just buy the tickets at the gate as they come in, and have an opportunity to rub elbows with some of those drivers because everybody comes in the same gate at dirt tracks. So it's a lot different than you see in other types of sports or motorsports, because it's so there's such an opportunity for the fans just to be right there with the competitors and see up close and personal what's going on. It's just a lot of fun for the family.
And Joe, why do you think that is important to have the fans have that access to those who are racing? Why is that important?
I think it's all about being personal. I think you make those connections, those relationships, and it gives them the opportunity to get up close and personal. And there may be a fan that owns a small business and wants to get involved with one of the drivers. And it's not very expensive if a fan comes in that owns a small business and maybe wants to put their decal on a driver's car. They have the opportunity to do that for a very low price. So it forms those connections and those relationships. And, for the kids, it gives them something to do. It keeps them out of trouble. If they come to a racetrack, they meet a driver, they really like the driver, well, they're going to start cheering for that driver, and they're going to start following racing. And, once they start following racing, maybe they'll decide to race themselves down the road. We have some guys that are 15, 16 years old that race with the series. The drivers, actually, the past 2 years, the drivers that have won our Rookie of the Year award, which means it's the first year racing with a series, they were one was 16 and one was 17. So people can get involved in the sport at a young age and go out there and have a lot of fun and race. And I think that being those connections and that availability for people to get up close, it gives them the opportunity to maybe one day drive a race car themselves.
And like you said, there's been some teenagers who have even won, and it can start early with those kids getting into racing, learning more, cheering on their favorite racers. Lots of fun stuff going on. We do have to take a quick break. Stay with us. We have much more to talk about right after this. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. This morning, we're talking about a fun car racing event, actually two of them coming up next weekend in southern West Virginia, one of them Friday night in Princeton, the other event happening in Beckley. And there's lots of money at stake, $3,000 at Friday's event, $10,000 at Saturday's event. And not only that, not only fun for the racers and money on the table there, lots of fun for community members. So if you're looking to do something for Father's Day, to take your dad out to this event or grandfather, or just take your whole family out, there's a lot going on and lots of opportunities to do so again with those two events. I'd like to bring back in our guest, Joe Rush. And Joe, you shared some great information about the events coming up, but I'm just curious, how long have these two events been going on in our area? Is this something that's brand new, or has this been around for a little bit?
You know, with racing, the series itself has been in existence for 3 years. We have been at Beckley all three of the seasons that the series has been in existence. Last year was a little bit interesting with all that went on with the COVID pandemic. Racing was actually pretty blessed and able to. Racing was able to happen a lot last summer because social distancing was easy and everything was outside with car racing. So, it's been going on. The Beckley event, this is the second year we've had the Back the Blue event. Princeton, this is our first year at Princeton Speedway. Both tracks have been around for over 30 years. Beckley's been around for over 60 years. But for the series, this is our second event ever at Princeton Speedway. We had one back in May. It was kind of cold and things, so really excited to get to Princeton with good weather, warm weather, summer weather be here, and it should be really exciting. The event at Beckley, this will be the first time we've had a 10,000 win race at Beckley. The purses vary anywhere from 2,500 to win to 10,000 to win for the American All-Star Touring races. So this will be the first 10,000 win race we've had with the series at Beckley. And there's been a lot of buzz around the racing community about it. So with the two tracks being only 30 to 40 minutes apart, it makes it easy for guys to travel in. And a lot of people are excited because it is so close together. So that's why I stated earlier, not only the local fans that will come, but there'll be a lot of traveling fans that come in to watch the events that are just strictly race fans. Because they know that these two bigger events are back to back at Princeton and Beckley.
And Joe, about how many fans are you expecting or guests to come out to these two events? The Princeton night, it could be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 people. The earlier you get there, the better seats you get. Princeton's really set up neat, the facility, the way the track is set up. It has tier parking, and fans love to do that. They bring their trucks and they sit in the tailgates and watch the race from the bed of their trucks. So those spots fill up really fast. So, like I said, gates will open around between 4 and 5 next Friday, and I recommend getting there early if you want one of the best seats in the house. There's not a bad seat, but there are some really good seats that I recommend getting there early for. As far as Beckley, we could get easily 2,000 to 2,500 people there on race night because it's such a big race. A 10,000 to win race is something that doesn't happen all the time. So that night there's not a bad seat in the house at Beckley. It's all great seating. So bring your family and come out, get some great concession stand food, and watch some awesome racing on the track. And Joe, as far as the fans are concerned, where are you expecting them to come from? Obviously here in southern West Virginia, but are you expecting people to also be coming from out of state as well to watch these races?
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers have some fans that will travel with them regardless, from East Tennessee, from up in the, those guys that come from the north will have those fans that strictly follow them because maybe they're family or a friend of the driver, but there will also be fans that just travel in that are just race fans. So, Pennsylvania, Ohio, that are all big racing states that some people will see, oh, this event's going on. They'll come down and watch it. So, as well as the Carolinas, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, of course, and Georgia. We'll definitely see some fans that travel in from that far out for these events. 5 or 6 hours is nothing for a race fan to travel, especially if there's two events together. And what's great is Beckley Motorsports Park actually offers camping. So those people that have campers will just bring their campers and they'll go to Princeton, and then they can go get a camp spot with full hookups at Beckley Motorsports Park and just camp and enjoy the night before they head to the race on Saturday.
And Joe, this also helps the local economy to have out-of-state visitors or even people in the area just kind of being drawn to Princeton and Beckley as well. Can you touch more on that and how this also helps Southern West Virginia's economy?
Yeah, I think that's really important to note. I'm a part of the West Virginia Motorsports Committee appointed by the governor, and it brings in these people always. They're asking me, especially when we travel into West Virginia, Joe, where should we go eat? Well, I recommend places that are good for them to eat. So the restaurants are getting boost. The gas stations get boost from this. It definitely helps all the local economy. Some people will stick around. A lot of racers are also golfers. So some people will stick around on Saturday night and decide to golf on Sunday. Golf courses benefit from it. The state parks benefit from it because people will just look for something different to do. They'll stick around an extra night, and they'll look for something different to do on Sunday or the days following the event. So, they'll go find something fun to do like that. They definitely stop and eat at restaurants. The racers are always, like I said, asking me for places that can accommodate their haulers to be parked because they have, big haulers that are the size of tractor trailers that they haul their cars on. So, and then there's of course the campground that Beckley Motorsports Park has. Some of them, then people that don't have campers or toters will also support the local motels. So it brings a lot of money into Southern West Virginia as far as people that are traveling in and coming for the event and will spend money that wouldn't otherwise be spent in Southern West Virginia.
Yeah, that's a big deal for this part of the state. Well, we have to take one more quick break. Stay with us. We have much more to talk about right after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus. As we've been mentioning, if you're into car racing, there's actually two events coming up next weekend, Friday night in Princeton and the second event coming up in Beckley on Saturday that you might be interested in taking your family out to it. Joining us once again via Zoom from Beckley to talk more about everything going on is Joe Rush, the owner of the American All-Star Series. So Joe, you've been sharing some valuable information about this, what's going on with these races coming up, but can you also share with our viewers more about, you're the owner of the American All-Star Series. What is that exactly?
Yeah, owning and running a series is a lot of work. It works really well. I'm a teacher full-time, so racing is kind of my second love, my second passion. But it works really well because a lot of what happens in racing is in the summer. But what people don't see is the behind-the-scenes work. It's all week long, texting on the phone, spending those evenings, those nights into the wee hours in the morning sometimes, promoting and working on the shows and events that are going to happen. We pay out a $35,000 points fund at the end of the year. So there's a lot of relationships with partners and sponsors that participate and help make that possible. So you have to keep constant contact with those partners and those sponsors, and you also have to work constantly and closely with the racers. Not only those that race with you full time, but those that will travel in and race select events based on payout, or maybe they don't have a race at their home state, so they decide they're going to travel and race with the series. So it's a constant a web of phone calls and text and just making sure that everybody's as happy as possible. You can never make everybody totally happy, but then it's a lot of time up and down the road. This past weekend, we raced in Crossville, Tennessee on Friday night, and then we raced in Bulls Gap, Tennessee on Saturday. So there's also the relationship with the tracks that you have to build and form in order to make this all work. It's a very structured thing that you have to do, a lot to it, a lot of moving pieces. And then we have a staff and a crew or of people that help the series and travel to the events with us, from tech men to different people that are involved in running the race, and those that are keeping the drivers informed on what's going on race night. So it's a very integral system that just has a lot of moving pieces, and there's really no downtime.
Well, Joe, it sounds like you're busy being a teacher during the school year and then doing this really during the summer. So what would you say, well, first of all, where do you teach at?
I actually teach here at Ridgeview Elementary in Crab Orchard.
Okay, well, thank you for being an educator. I know that's a lot of hard work, and you really are setting the example and getting the kids ready for, the children are our future. So thank you for that, first of all. Second of all, tell us more about what you think is the payoff for all this. It seems like a lot of hard work for everyone involved, the race car drivers, those who run the track, you. But what would you say is the biggest payoff from your perspective?
It's really just a love for the sport. There's times that you have really phenomenal racing, and but there's also times that racers are mad at you at the end of the night and they're upset. So, there's a lot of just enjoyment. It gives people something to do. Like I said, I think it's important for kids to find a hobby that's going to keep them out of trouble. And racing will do that because it's not cheap. It costs a lot of money to do it. So it keeps them busy, keeps them out of trouble. And, I'm all about doing things that are good, clean fun. And, racing is one of those options that's good, clean fun, that's not going to have a lot of, bad things that go on and things that shouldn't be happening. It's just people out having a good time, and, that's what it's all about. Is I want to give people an option for entertainment. Especially in Southern West Virginia, people are always saying there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. Right here's two big events next Friday and Saturday, and these two tracks operate weekly. So that it gives people another option for entertainment and just something to do that's maybe a little cheaper than other hobbies and other things for those that want to come watch.
So question, is there going to be food or vendors set up there, like food, beverages? I know you said no alcohol, this is a family-friendly thing, but what about those who are coming hungry to watch the race?
Absolutely. It's a full concession stand food, just like you would see at, pretty much any sporting event, from hot dogs, barbecues, hamburgers, and both facilities have really great food. Get you a cold soda at the concession stand and enjoy the night's racing. But it's a full line of food items that you would, like I said, like you would expect at any sporting event concession stand to have. Pretty much the tracks have it, and it's really good food too. So come hungry, and not only come to enjoy racing, but come and enjoy a good meal as well.
All right, and let's just remind our viewers one more time, Joe, about each of the events. Again, Friday night, the event's in Princeton. Saturday night, it's in Beckley. But let's just remind them one more time about the times and where they can go if they're interested in learning more information.
Yeah, both these events are Friday night. The gates will open around 5 with racing starting between 7:30 and 8. Saturday night, gates will open around 4 with racing starting around 7. These events, you need to follow our Facebook page, which is American All-Star Series presented by PPM Racing Products, as well as the two tracks, because Beckley Motorsports Park for Saturday and Princeton Speedway for Friday. Weather and many things can contribute to how the events go. Princeton actually lost its event this weekend already for tonight because the rain was so heavy. So, keep an eye on the Facebook page, the Facebook pages, or go to our website, crateracing.com, and just to make sure that the events are still going on, that the weather hasn't canceled it. Like I said, there can be a lot of contributing factors. If it rains heavy throughout the week next week, it could end up canceling the events due to weather. So you definitely want to stay tuned and watch that. Beckley's event will be really exciting. Both events will be exciting, and it'll be a great weekend, great Father's Day weekend. So want the people to come out and enjoy themselves.
Definitely. We have about a minute or so left in our segment here, Joe, but is there anything else that you'd like our viewers to know who are watching this morning about these two events coming up?
It's they're both going to be very big events. You could expect drivers from all over the East Coast to show up. We've had some really big racers race with us this season. We actually had Trevor Bain, who is a former Daytona 500 champion, run one of our races. So I'm not saying he's coming, but he could, and that would be huge for the fans that come out.
Hey, that would be fun to get an autograph from him if he showed up. Like you said, you're not promising it, but maybe to get a signed autograph. And also it's just a chance to meet these racers too, which is so cool for kids and their families to have the chance to be kind of up close and personal and meet those who are racing.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of great racers. They love the fans. They give out stuff a lot of nights, autograph cards, little flags to the fans. So it's a great opportunity for maybe people that have never been to a race. This is the weekend you want to come check it out. So next weekend, come spend your Father's Day weekend with us at Princeton Speedway and Beckley Motorsports Park.
All right, Joe, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this edition of In Focus. Like you said, it's a fun event where the whole family can go out for Father's Day. So thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to let our viewers know if you have an idea for an In Focus segment, the show is really about people and events and happenings in the two Virginias. You can feel free to reach out to me. Send me an email, mzosh, Z-O-S-H, at WVVA.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. But that does it for this edition of In Focus. We hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you all again next Sunday.